Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to the Friday edition of First Contact Radio. Hope you're doing well and ready for the weekend. We got a day ahead of us yet before we get there, so let's check out what we have to deal with today. All right, 11th right here. We could see that we have made that transition into the moon sign of Virgo. Virgo, the hermit, is the one who holds the lantern high for others to see. Virgo is the one who analyzes, the teacher, the helper. So all of those things are going on in the unconscious. It's an earth sign. It deals with earth, the element of earth. So we have earth and this unconscious mind, things we want to bring into manifestation. In the conscious mind, we have a fire, which are the ideas. Two ends of the spectrum work together very nicely. The ideas that become manifest as the form. And we look to see, do we have any significant trines or squares? And we do, right here tonight, between Virgo and Pluto. Pluto is transformation that takes place that comes up something deep, buried deep below the surface. So that's where the transformation is coming from. So when it comes through the surface and it's dealt with, something positive comes out of it because we have a trine. So there's a nice good energy of allowing ourselves to be able to let what is buried deep rise and show itself in our life in a nice, good, positive way. Tomorrow we're also going to be in Virgo as this moon sign, and we're going to make that change on Sunday to the sign of Libra, which will be an air sign. And then when we get back Monday, we'll be fully in Libra. Over to the numerology for today, we have the number 4. Number 4, as we can see, are disciplined, strong, stable, pragmatic, down-to-earth, reliable, dependable, hardworking, extracting, precise, methodical, conscientious, devoted, patriotic, trustworthy. There's quite a few things there. On the other side, it could be lack of imagination, emotions, empathy. They may not bother to put much care into their appearance. Social awkwardness seems vulgar, and it's associated with Aries, or the tarot card of the Emperor. We're going to talk about that momentarily. First, let's see how we've arrived at that number. We have the 4 for the month. We have the 11 for the day. We have the 2014 for the year. So 4 plus 2 plus 7 is a 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. Therefore, we are dealing with 4, Aries. Here is the Aries right here. Number 4, Hebrew letter, he who sets in order. That's what this card is about. That's what the idea of the Aries, the Emperor, is about. Okay, so I want to show you this symbol here as we go over this in the mornings now. Probably should go to the symbol, makes it easier. Okay, this is the tree of life pattern here, and on this, as you can see, all of the different elements of astrology, tarot, and so on are all represented. So we're going to look here. What we have are the classrooms, are the circles here. There's the Fira, and then between the classrooms, we have these paths that walk. So today, we've got the Emperor, right? So the Emperor is walking the path here between wisdom and beauty. The whole idea with this symbol here is we always want to find a way to get back to the middle pillar. And by understanding, if we look at this as our consciousness, as we understand where we are at any given time, we can understand what path we are traveling. So with numerology at the 4, looking at the Emperor, we're going from wisdom, things that we have learned, or bringing that wisdom back into the heart, the process of order, putting everything in order. Okay? So this is a nice, good way to help you understand the symbols, the numbers, the astrology, and as you just look at all the symbols, you begin to make a bit more sense. The other day, as I was talking about, yesterday we were at a 3, which was this one here. This is the path of imagination, the Empress. And here is the path of 2, the High Priestess. Remember I said you had to go through this door? And the Hebrew letter on this one is Daleth, which actually means door. So you go through the door of imagination, and you move through that door, and that allows you access into this middle chamber here, that sacred chamber, where we have the High Priestess. Okay, so here now today we're dealing with the wisdom aspect, bringing wisdom down to beauty, and we do cross this path of strength, which tells us that strength comes from allowing love to shine from our heart. So that's one of the elements and aspects that the Emperor keeps in mind as the Emperor is making that path, keeping love in the heart. So instead of the Aries element of fire becoming aggressive and warlike, it becomes something that is peaceful, harmonious, and we learn a lot from it because we realize what true strength is and how, when we put things in proper order, we allow the right useness or righteousness of the energy to really shine as the beauty within who we are and what we're about. Okay? So I thought that would be very helpful for you. So this link's available so you can check that out and keep track of that. If we go over to our current moon phase, we're at 87% full. So the full moon will be next week. It will be on Wednesday the 15th. So we're making our way to that date here. Looking up into the sky, this is what we see when we look southeast. We got the moon right here, the moon phase. And then we look above the moon, we see this, it's called the sickle of Leo. Yesterday we talked about Regulus being involved. Here's Regulus right here. It says the waxing gibbous moon shines under Leo tonight. Leo is where you get if you follow the pointer stars of the Big Dipper far enough backwards. Okay? So as you're looking into the sky, this is what we're going to see. Leo, full moon down here. On the Mayan Oracle, today we're at a 7-tone day. 7-tone in this oracle here is all about, it's called the resonant tone of attunement. You see it's right down here. It's about how we attune ourselves to the energy at hand. In this case, we've gone 7 steps along this path of learning the lesson of synchronicity. As we learn the lessons of synchronicity, navigation, we move through that energy and we come to the point where now we're going to resonate outward with that energy, vibrate to the new frequency. Yesterday we saw the inspiration of that energy. There was birth given to this energy, and now we're vibrating, resonating with it. The symbol or the kin for today is the night. Nights are about dreams, abundance, what goes on in the subconscious mind. So this phrase here is I channel in order to dream, inspiring intuition. I seal the input of abundance with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of vision. Over at space weather, our solar wind is 365.5 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet in the 2 range. There's our big coronal hole here. Pretty good size hole. It is facing our way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get hit by anything. It just depends on some other factors coming off of the sun. But it says that the wind will be blowing this direction around the 13th, 14th. And we know that prior to today, as it was moving across, we were told that we were going to start feeling this effect as early as the 11th, which is today. We go over to our M-class flare possibility. It's up at 25%. X-class is down to 1. Geomagnetic storm activity is relatively low as well. And we look at our Jewish calendar here. See where we're at. Today we are at 11 Nisan. Just a few days away from Passover, and when we get into the next part of the show, after the UFO news. I am going to be talking about Passover, so you know some of the things about it in advance of the day that is coming up. All right? And there you have it. That gets us started with the energies around us today. Again, I like to use this as simply a weather report, not because we look at the physical weather. We know when we look outside, if it's raining, we take precaution to take an umbrella, put on a raincoat. If it's sunny and bright, we go out, wear a short sleeve shirt. If it's cold, a jacket. Okay, so we know that kind of weather. What I'm talking about is weather that takes place on a subtle level, like cosmic weather. And we're all affected by that. So as we understand the energies around us, the energies that are there because they're coming from nature, the energies that are there because we've set up certain agreements on the way we're going to create these energy patterns around us. When we look at all of these different things and put them together, it helps us to understand a little bit more. You may not understand and have all of this information in your understanding when you go out into the world. But even if you just take a little piece of this, and as you go about, you can just think about one aspect of this, I guarantee it'll make a big difference because you'll start to look at things a little differently. And to me, it's all about looking at energy. And the more we can understand the energies and understand a different aspect of it, the better off it is and the smoother we can move through life. All right, that gets us started for today. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, thank you, Dirk. All right, our first story takes us back to February 1st. However, this was just reported. It is a UFO over the pyramid Teotihuacan in Mexico. This UFO report just was reported today. However, it took place on February 1st. The video is 1.3 minutes, and the UFO is at an extreme height, causing the video to look shaky. Zooming always does. This is a great example of how UFOs are attracted to ancient sites. Even aliens care about past human history. The UFO changes shape, but mostly is the shape of the wheel at the end, like the Ezekiel UFO event. Eyewitness says, I was alone visiting the archaeological site of Teotihuacan in Mexico on the 1st of February. I was resting, sitting and leaning by the base of one-step pyramid. I turned to see on my left side up to the sky when I noticed a shining dot in the sky. I immediately turned on my Nikon P500 camera and started shooting some pictures, and the video I'm sending you. The quality of the video is not that good. It's pretty hard to focus on the object in the distance. The object was moving slowly in a straight path. I noticed that for a few seconds the object slowed down and then continued its path smoothly to the moment I couldn't track it either with the camera or with the naked eye. Okay, so a short video, just a minute 13 seconds long, but we've certainly seen this type of orb before. We see them all around the world, don't we? Okay. Let's go from Mexico. Let's go over to Australia. What we have here is another similar looking object. This is Australian spots UFOs over Adelaide, Australia, TV news. A woman in Adelaide, Australia has recorded many hours of UFOs near her home. Her home videos have been made into a documentary. She says that not even die-hard skeptics can ignore her footage. She's not the only one in Adelaide who has recorded UFOs. There's actually a large number of UFO videos coming out of a small town, and they're posted below. If you want to see a UFO, then you really have to put the time into recording the sky. Then go back to your footage and see if you caught one. Alright, we have a 1 minute 15 second. Let me pick up where it's on here.
You can see that it has created with energy, and then they come out of it.
She's created a 6-part documentary called Uncloaked Dimensions to prove we're not alone.
We are being visited by extraterrestrial beings.
Seeley believes this is an ET flying over her home and thinks it could be a Wanjura spirit from the Dreamtime.
It's got eyes, it's got a head, it's got arms, and it surfs on a silver disc.
Supporters believe the sightings are genuine.
But there's a disc sort of floating across the screen of her computer. It's like a donut shape. It's like the middle of it had a bit of a dome.
I challenge all the skeptics, get your video out and start filming the sky.
I won't be convinced until the flying saucer lands in Victoria Square.
Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
Alright, so I think a lot of people are going to be surprised because one day there is going to be a UFO that's going to land in the square, and well, people are going to be freaked out a little bit. Alright, here's a review of a past case that took place in 1980. This one was the Cash-Landrum incident. There's a video here talking about it. It says, too often the UFO phenomenon is dismissed for its supposed exclusive reliance on eyewitness testimony. However, there are numerous examples of UFO encounters that have left tangible traces of their presence in the physical environment or on the witnesses themselves. The so-called Cash-Landrum case of 1980 is a notable example of the latter, having left all three of its witnesses with symptoms of severe radiation poisoning following a late-night encounter with an unidentified object. It is one case, at least, that cannot possibly be dismissed as a fabrication, a misidentification, or a hallucination, and that one points to a possible connection between the UFO phenomena and the UFO and the secret government, or the U.S. government, excuse me. Alright, here we have, it's a 6-minute, 31-second video. I'm going to leave it available for you to watch. Just wanted to make the link available. Now we're going to move over here to an article from UFO Digest. It says, UFO stealth technology demonstration around 1952. This comes to us from Doc Vega. In the 1952, an unprecedented UFO flap, the likes of which has never seen before, descended upon the U.S. with a vengeance. From the west coast to the great state of Texas, all from the Midwest all the way to Washington, D.C., a wave of flying saucer sightings left Americans speechless in the wake of their police switchboards, often flooded with calls. Little did the public know that the Project Blue Book headquarters in Dayton, Ohio, Director Captain Edward Rilput had already anticipated that a powder keg of UFO activity awaited the nation. The situation had been building as his organization worked feverishly to investigate the numerous and bizarre reports coming in. Captain Rupert found himself flying all over the country, interviewing and trained observers such as the airline pilots who had flown in World War II, policemen, engineers, and solid citizens who were not looking for an unwanted notoriety of being a UFO kook. Through the months of pressure that had been building on UFO reports were gaining momentum. Dr. J. Allen Hynek, among others, there at the Project Blue Book offices were nervous in anticipation of a big event, or perhaps a series of big events that awaited the general public over the skies of the United States. The year of 1952 would bring with it a breathtaking series of flying saucer sightings that would eclipse all concerns of UFOs, U.S. citizens, even the Korean War, which was raging at the time. The top of the proverbial jar was about to be blown off. Over the course of several nights in July 52, a direct confrontation was due between the U.S. Air Force and the mysterious phenomena that, according to General Nathan Twining, could outperform the best fighter aircraft fielded by the U.S. Armed Forces. Scientists concerned over the trigger-happy readiness of fighter jocks tasked with defending the airspace of the country, and a high command that was obsessed with acquiring the exotic technology of the UFO, warned against starting a potential interstellar war with far more advanced civilization. The stage was set for a showdown of uncertain proportions. After several nights of airborne lights pacing civilian airliners as they approached Washington National Airport, one of the strangest incidents ever recorded in UFO history showcased the technological superiority of ever invaded the skies over Washington. The fateful evening. Major Dewey Fournette, an Air Force spokesman, Albert Chop, and radar technicians wanted to watch as unknown radar blips crowded the screen over the White House airspace. Calls made the airline pilots by the traffic controllers confirmed the visual existence of airborne lights in the vicinity of the approach patterns used by civilian passenger aircraft. In the wee hours, U.S. Air Force interceptors from Newcastle Air Force Base were vectored to the unknown radar targets that suddenly blinked out and disappeared from the radar screen every time the F-94C all-weather jet fighters entered close proximity to the bogies that were loitering over the White House airspace. Frustrated by what they thought was a malfunction in their equipment, radar technicians worked feverishly to check their electronics, but there was no apparent technical glitch found. According to Senior Traffic Controller Harry Barnes, it was as though the UFOs were listening to Air Force communications to the air traffic controllers and the pilots who attempted to identify their elusive prey. Several times when the pilots entered the zones occupied by the ubiquitous UFOs, again all targets had been marked and noted by the radar technicians, again vanished from the screens. Pilots were vectored into last known positions of the bogies, but reported no sign of their aerial opponents. And you can go down, you can see the whole story here. Last thing, if Washington national sightings prove anything of a concrete significance concerning UFOs, it is that they demonstrated a very effective form of cloaking while in flight that vastly exceeds the stealth technology we presently using on such U.S. military aircraft as the F-117 stealth fighter or the B-2 stealth bomber. Even though U.S. defense contractors are on the verge of developing visual camouflage that would render invisibility to troops and hardware, it would be nothing like rendering immediate in-flight visibility that could thwart enemy aircraft in close proximity. We are not there yet, but in 1952, someone or something was. What they were and who they were remains a mystery to this day. Right? Good article. Here we have an article about the Dulce, New Mexico. UFO ET base revealed from a scientist now in hiding. Dulce, New Mexico is quite a little town located about 7,000 feet above the Chiquila Apache Indian Reservation. It is home to about 900 people with one major motel and a few stores. It is not your typical resort town and is not bustling with activity. However, the sleepy town harbors a deep, dark secret hidden below the tangled brush of the Adelade Mesa, a secret so deep that it involves a joint government alien biogenetic laboratory designed to carry out bizarre experiments on humans and animals. The Dulce base is believed to be the largest reptilian and gray alien base in America, where they are allegedly conducting experiments including atomic manipulation, cloning, mind control, animal-human crossbreeding, chip implantation, abduction, and the feeding off of humans. The video below contains extraordinary notes taken by a scientist who is commissioned by the government to visit alien crash sites and observe alien life. The scientist is now in hiding. In it, he reveals top secret information on the Dulce base and its inner workings. However, I must warn you, the information in the video is top secret, and just by reading it, it puts a target on your back. People have been killed for sharing this knowledge, so please watch with caution. The video here is 33 minutes in length. These pictures were allegedly smuggled out of the base by a Dulce security officer named Thomas Costello. He and his family are missing and presumed dead by the public. Okay, so here's some of the images supposedly taken out. Okay, and this is what the base is supposed to look like as it goes underground. An overview of where it is. The following document is the alleged result of the actions of one or more scientists creating a covert, unauthorized notebook documenting their involvement with the above top-secret government program. Government publications and information obtained by the use of public tax monies cannot be subject to copyright. And here we go, there's the article itself. Alright, so there you have it. That's what's there. And again, as it says, watch at your own risk. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so that's something to watch. And here's one more piece. I've been trying to bring up some movies. So when the weekend gets here, there's movies for you to watch and enjoy. And here's another one for you. This one is, we're going to go old school UFO here. This is a video link to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is the director's cut. You uploaded here at YouTube. So I'm going to put this here back in February. So don't know how long the link will be there, but while it is, enjoy the movie. It's 2 hours 17 minutes in length. So the link's available at firstcontactradio.com. And there you have it. That's our UFO news for today. I'll be back in just a bit. We're going to continue on with Passover discussion and then more of the Kryballion. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Send down your love. All right, Passover's coming up, as you know. So what is Passover? The 8-day festival of Passover is celebrated in the early spring from the 15th through the 22nd of the Hebrew month of Nisan. It commemorates the emancipation of the Israelites from slavery in ancient Egypt, and by following the rituals of Passover, we have the ability to revive, to relive, and to experience the true freedom that our ancestors gained. After many decades of slavery to the Egyptian pharaohs, during which time the Israelites were subjected to backbreaking labor and unbearable horrors, God saw the people's distress and sent Moses to Pharaoh with the message, "Send forth my people so that they may serve me." But despite numerous warnings, Pharaoh refused to heed God's command, and God sent upon Egypt 10 devastating plagues, afflicting them and destroying everything from their livestock to their crops. At the stroke of midnight of 15 Nisan of the year 2448 from creation, God visited the last of the 10 plagues on the Egyptians, killing all of their firstborn. While doing so, God spared the children of Israel, passing over their homes, hence the name of the holiday. Hebrews' resistance was broken, and he virtually chased the former slaves out of his land. The Israelites left in such a hurry, in fact, that the bread they baked as provisions for the way did not have time to rise. 600,000 adult males, plus many more women and children, left Egypt on that day. They began to trek to Mount Sinai and their birth as God's chosen people. It says Passover observance is divided into 2 parts. The first 2 days and the last 2 days, thus commemorating the splitting of the Red Sea, are full-fledged holidays. Holiday candles are lit at night, and Kiddush and sumptuous holiday meals are enjoyed on both nights and days. We don't go to work, drive, write, or switch on or off electric devices. We are permitted to cook and carry outdoors. The middle 4 days are called Chol Hamoed, semi-festive intermediate days when most forms of work are permitted. To commemorate the unleavened bread that the Israelites ate when they left Egypt, we don't eat or even retain in our possession any chametz from midday to the day before Passover until the conclusion of Hallel. Chametz means leavened grains, any food or drink that contains even a trace of wheat, barley, rye, oats, spelt, or other derivatives, and which wasn't guarded from leavening or fermentation. This includes bread, cake, cookies, cereal, pasta, and the most alcoholic beverages. Moreover, almost any processed food or drink can be assumed to be chametz unless certified otherwise. Ridding our homes of chametz is an intense process. It involves a full-out spring cleaning, search and destroy mission during the weeks before Passover, and culminates with the ceremonial search for chametz on the night before Passover, and then the burning of the chametz ceremony on the morning before the holiday. Chametz that can be disposed of can be sold to a non-Jew for the duration of the holiday. Instead of chametz, we eat matzah, flat unleavened bread. It is a mitzvah to partake of matzah on the 2 Seder nights. During the rest of the holiday, it is optional. In the Seders, the highlight of the Passover is the Seder, observed in each of the first 2 nights of the holiday. The Seder is a 15-step family-oriented tradition and ritual-packed feast. The focal points of the Seder are eating matzah, eating bitter herbs to commemorate the bitter slavery, drinking 4 cups of wine or grape juice, a royal drink to celebrate our newfound freedom, the recitation of the Haggadah, a liturgy that describes in detail the story of the Exodus from Egypt. The Haggadah is the fulfillment of the biblical obligation to recount to our children the story of the Exodus on the night of the Passover. Alright, so there's some information there, and here's another site also, Judaism 101, Pesach, Passover. It says, in this day the Lord shall become a memorial for you, and this day shall become a memorial for you, and you shall observe it as a festival for the Lord. For your generations, as an eternal decree, shall you observe it. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, but on the first day you shall remove the leavened bread from your homes. You shall guard the unleavened bread, because this is the very day I will take you out of Egypt. You shall observe this day for generations as an eternal decree. This is from Exodus 12:14-17. Pesach, known in English as Passover, it is one of the most commonly observed Jewish holidays, even by otherwise non-observant Jews. According to the Seder plate, 67% of the Jews routinely hold or attend a Pesach Seder, while only 46% belong to a synagogue. Pesach begins on the 15th day of the Jewish month of Nisan. It is the first of the 3 major festivals with both historical and agricultural significance. The other 2 are Shavuot and Sukkot. Agriculturally, it represents the beginning of the harvest season in Israel, but little attention is paid to this aspect of the holiday. The primary observance of Pesach are related to the Exodus from Egypt after the generations of slavery. The story is told in Exodus chapters 1-15. The name Pesach, which a C, as in the Scottish Lutz, comes from the Hebrew root pesamachet, meaning to pass through, to pass over, to exempt, or to spare. It refers to the fact that God passed over the houses of the Jews when he was slaying the firstborn of Egypt. In English, the holiday is known as Passover. Pesach is also known as the sacrificial offering that was made in the temple on this holiday. The holiday is referred to as Chag Aviv, Chag HaMatzat, and Zamen Cheritenu, time of our freedom. Okay? So there's a little bit more. On Monday I'll talk about some more so we can understand a bit, and this just kind of gets us started. Now, one of the debates that has come about around Passover, because there is a division going on. You have the Jewish community who celebrates Passover, and then the Christian community who kind of ignores it in some degree or another. They just don't think it's of any significance. But Jesus did celebrate the Passover, so if it was good enough for Jesus, I think it's good enough for us to look at. Don't you agree? It says every year millions celebrate religious holidays that are not found anywhere in the Bible. If we are truly to follow Christ, shouldn't we consider which religious holidays he observed? The last activity Jesus Christ shared with his disciples only hours before he was crucified was the biblically commanded Passover celebration. He had observed this festival annually since his birth. There's Luke 2:41. Accompanied by his 12 disciples for their final Passover meal together, he said to them with fervent desire, I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. His intense longing to observe this Passover service reveals his deep devotion to celebrating it. Not only does Jesus merely hours before his crucifixion still regard the Passover as important, but also, as he explained to his disciples that evening, he fully intends to observe it with them again. It is fulfilled in the kingdom of God. So why did Jesus set such a committed example of observing this festival if he intended soon afterwards, as he is commonly believed today, to abolish this festival? Does that really make any sense? Most people claim to follow Christ's example today, know little or nothing about the Passover or other biblically commanded festivals, nor do they understand why he is considering them important. And most of them certainly have never thought of these days as meaningful to them personally, but they should. There's a lot more to this article. I'm going to leave that to you, but just something to consider. You know, we often, I think it would just be good to consider. All right, moving on. All right, I want to continue on with this section of the Kryballion, because it is, backtrack one here. We've now gone through all of these mental phases: mental transmutation, the all, mental universe, divine paradox, and today we're going to get to the all in all. So come to next week, we'll be into the next of the 7 steps. Okay, we're still dealing with the first one, the all, because it's the mind is all, because it's a big concept. So here we go. Well, all is in the all. It is equally true that the all is in the all. To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge. From the Kryballion. How often have the majority of people heard repeated the statement that their deity, called by many names, was all in all, and how little they have suspected the inner occult truth concealed by these carelessly uttered words. The commonly used phrases, expression is a survival of the most ancient Hermetic maximum quoted above, as the Kryballion says, to him who truly understands this truth hath come great understanding. And this being so, let us seek this truth, this understanding of which means so much. In the statement of truth, the Hermetic maximum is concealed one of the greatest philosophical, scientific, and religious truths. We have given you the Hermetic teaching regarding the mental nature of the universe, the truth that the universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. As the Kryballion says in the passage quoted above, all is in the all. But note that the correlated statement that it is equally true that the all is in the all. This apparently contradictory statement is reconcilable under the law of paradox. It is, moreover, an exact Hermetic statement of the relations existing between the all and the mental universe. We have seen how the all is in the all. Now let us examine the other aspect of the subject. The Hermetic teachings are to the effect that the all is the immanent in its universe, and every statement, past, particle, unit, or combination within the universe. This statement is usually illustrated by the teachers by a reference to the principle of correspondence. The teacher instructs the students to form a mental image of something, a person, an idea, something having mental form, the favorite example being that of the author or dramatist forming an idea of his character, or of a painter or sculptor forming an image of an idea that he wishes to express by his art. In each case, the student will find that while the image has its extension and being solely within his own mind, yet he, the student, author, dramatist, painter, or sculptor, is in a sense immanent in, remaining within, or abiding within the mental image also. In other words, the entire virtue, life, spirit of reality in the mental image is derived from the immanent mind of the thinker. Consider this for a moment until the idea is grasped. To take a modern example, let us say that Othello, Iago, Hamlet, Lear, Richard III existed merely in the mind of Shakespeare at the time of their conception or creation, and yet Shakespeare also existed within each of these characters, given them their vitality, spirit, and action. Whose is of the spirit of the characters that we know as Micawber, Oliver Twist, Uriah Heep? Is it Dickens, or of each of these characters a personal spirit independent of their creator? Of the Venus of Medici or Sistine Madonna, the Apollo Belvedere, spirits and realities of their own, or do they represent the spiritual and mental power of their creators? The law of paradox explains that both propositions are true, viewed from the proper viewpoints. Micawber is both Micawber and yet Dickens. And again, while Micawber may be said to be Dickens, yet Dickens is not identical to Micawber. Man, like Micawber, may explain, the spirit of my creator is inherent within me, and yet I am not he. How different this is from the shocking half-truths so voraciously announced by certain of the half-wise who fill their air with the raucous cries of I am God. Imagine poor Micawber or the sneaky Uriah Heep crying that I am Dickens, or some of the lowly clods in the Shakespeare's plays eloquently announcing that I am Shakespeare. The all is in the earthworm, and yet the earthworm is far from being the all. And still the wonder remains, and though the earthworm exists merely as a lowly thing created and having its being solely within the mind of the all, yet the all is immanent in the earthworm and in that particles that go to make up the earthworm. Can there be any greater mystery than this? Of all is in the all, and the all in the all? The students will of course realize the illustrations given above are necessarily imperfect and inadequate, for they represent the creation of mental images in finite minds, while the universe is a creation of an infinite mind, and the difference between the two poles separates them. And yet it is merely a matter of degree. The same principle is in the operation. The principle of correspondence manifests in each, as above so below, as below so above. And in the degree that man realizes the existence of the indwelling spirit immanent in this being, so he will rise to the spiritual scale of life. This is what spiritual development means, the recognition, realization, and manifestation of the spirit within us. Try to remember this last definition, that of spiritual development. It contains the truth, true religion. There are many planes of being, many subplanes of life, many degrees of existence in the universe, and all depend upon the advancement of beings in the scale of which the scale, the lowest point is the grossest matter, the highest being separated only by the thinnest division from the spirit of the all. And upward and onward along the scale of life, everything is moving. All are on the path, whose end is the all. The progress is a returning home. All is upward and onward in spite of the seemingly contradictory appearances. Such is the message of the illumined. The Hermetic teachings concerning the process of the mental creation of the universe are that of the beginning of the creative cycle. The all, in its aspect of being, projects its will towards its aspect of becoming, and the process of creation begins. It is taught that the process consists of the lowering of the vibration until a very low degree of vibratory energy is reached, at which point the grossest possible form of matter is manifest. This process is called the stage of involution, in which the all becomes involved or wrapped up in its creation. The process is believed by the Hermeticists to have a correspondence to the mental process of an artist, writer, or inventor who becomes so wrapped up in his mental creation as to almost forget his own existence, and who, for the time being, almost lives in his creation. Instead of wrapped, we use the word wrapped. Perhaps we will give a better idea of what is meant. The The involutionary stage of creation is sometimes called the outpouring of the divine energy, just as the evolutionary stage is called the indrawing. The extreme pole of the creative process is considered to be the furthest removed from the all, while the beginning of the evolutionary stage is regarded as the beginning of the return swing of the pendulum of rhythm, coming home, idea being held in all of the Hermetic teachings. The teachings are that during the outpouring, the vibrations become lower and lower until finally the urge ceases and the return swing begins. And there is a difference that while in the outpouring, the creative forces manifest compactly and as a whole, yet from the beginning of the evolutionary or indrawing stage, there is manifested the law of individualization, that it is the tendency to separate into units of force, so that finally that which left the all as individualized energy returns to its source as countless highly developed units of life, having risen higher and higher in the scale by the means of the physical, mental, and spiritual evolution. The ancient Hermeticists used the word meditation in describing the process of the mental creation in the universe of the mind of the all. The word contemplation is also frequently employed, but the idea intended seems to be that of the employment of the divine attention. Attention is a word derived from the Latin root meaning to reach out, to stretch out, and so the act of attention is really a mental reaching out extension of mental energy, so that the underlying idea is readily understood when we examine into the real meaning of attention. The Hermetic teachings regarding the process of evolution are that the all, having meditated upon the beginning of creation, thus having established the material foundations of the universe, having thought into existence, then gradually awakens or rouses from a meditation, and in doing so starts into manifestation the process of evolution on the material plane and spiritual planes, successively in order. Thus the upward movement begins, and all begins to move spiritward. Matter becomes less gross, and units spring into being. The combinations begin to form. Life appears and manifests in higher and higher forms. The mind becomes more and more in evidence, the vibrations constantly becoming higher. In short, the entire process of evolution in all of its phases begins and proceeds according to the established laws of the indrawing process. All of this occupies eons upon eons of man's time, each eon containing countless millions of years, but yet the illumined inform us that the entire creation involving involution and evolution of the universe is but as a twinkle of the eye to the all. At the end of the countless cycles of eons of time, the all withdraws its attention, its contemplation and meditation of the universe, for the great work is finished, and all is withdrawn into the all from which it emerged. But mystery of mysteries, the spirit of each soul is not annihilated, but is infinitely expanded. The created and the creator are merged, such is the report of the illumined. The above illustrations of the meditation and subsequent awakening from meditation of the all is of course but an attempt at the teachers to describe the infinite process by a finite example, and yet as below, so above, the difference is merely in degree. And just as the all arouses itself from the meditation upon the universe, so does man in time cease from manifesting upon the material plane and withdraw himself more and more into the indwelling spirit, which is indeed the divine ego. There is one more matter of which we desire to speak in this lesson, and that comes very near to an invasion of the metaphysical field of speculation, although our purpose is merely to show the futility of such speculation. We allude to the question which inevitably comes to the mind of thinkers who have ventured to seek the truth. The question is, why does the all create universes? The question may be asked in different forms, but the above is the gist of the inquiry. Men have striven hard to answer the question, but still there is no answer worthy of the name. Some have imagined that the all had something to gain by it, but this is absurd, for what could the all gain that did not already possess? Others have sought the answer in the idea that the all wished something to love, and others that it created for pleasure or amusement, or because it was lonely or manifest its power. The puerile explanations and ideas belonging to the childish period of thought. Others have thought to explain the mystery by assuming that the all found itself compelled to create by reason of its own internal nature, its creative instinct. This idea is in advance to the others, but its weak point lies in the idea that the all being compelled by anything, internal, external. If its internal nature or creative instinct compelled it to do anything, then the internal nature or the creative instinct would be the absolute instead of the all, and so accordingly the part of the proposition fails. And yet the all does create and manifest, and seems to find some kind of satisfaction in doing so. And it is difficult to escape the conclusion that in some infinite degree it must have what would correspond to the inner nature, or the creative instinct in man with corresponding infinite desire and will. It could not act unless it is willed to act, and it would not will to act unless it desired to act, and it would not desire to act unless it obtained some satisfaction thereby. And all of these things would belong to an inner nature, and might be postulated as existing according to the law of correspondence. But still we prefer to think that the all is acting entirely free from any influence, internal as well as external. That is the problem which lies at the root of difficulty, and the difficulty that lies at the root of the problem. Strictly speaking, there cannot be said to be any reason whatsoever that for the all to act, where reason implies a cause, and the all is above all cause and effect, except when it wills to become a cause, at which time the principle is set into motion. So you see, the matter is unthinkable, just as the all is unknowable. Just as we say that the all merely is, so we are compelled to say that the all acts because it acts. At the last, the all is all reason in itself, all law in itself, all action in itself, and it may be said truthfully that the all is its own reason, its own law, its own act, or still further, that the all, its reason, its act, its law are one, all being names for the same thing. In the opinion of those who are giving you these present lessons, the answer is locked up in the inner self of the all, along with the secret of being. The all of correspondence in our opinion reaches only to that aspect of the all which may be spoken of as the aspect of becoming, back to the aspect is, the aspect of being, in which all laws are lost in law, all principles emerge into principle, and the all, principle and being, are identical, one and the same. Therefore metaphysical speculation on this point is futile. We go into the matter here merely to show you that we recognize the question, and also the absurdity of the ordinary answers of metaphysics and theology. In conclusion, it may be of interest to our students to learn that some of the ancient and modern Hermetic teachers have rather inclined to the directions of applying the principle of correspondence to this question, with the result of the inner nature conclusion. Still, the legends leave that Hermes the Great, when asked this question by his advanced students, answered them by pressing his lips together tightly and not saying a word, indicating that there was no answer. But then he may have intended to apply the axiom of his philosophy that the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding, believing that even his advanced students did not possess the understanding which entitled them to the teaching. At any rate, if Hermes possessed the secret, he failed to impart it, and so far as the world is concerned, the lips of Hermes are closed regarding it. And where the great Hermes hesitated to speak, what mortal dared to teach? But remember that wherever be the answer to this problem, if indeed there be an answer, the truth remains that, while all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in the all. The teaching on this point is emphatic, and we may add the concluding words of the quotation: "To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge." So there you have it. That deals with the whole section of the mind, the all. Go back, read through it again, brush up on it, and as we get through all of this, we'll have a bit more discussion and kind of a summary of each one of the sections. If you have any questions or thoughts or whatever, go ahead and send them in. Email them, firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. Post them up at the YouTube channel, and let's delve into this a bit more, shall we? All right, let me move along here real quick. I just want to leave this link for you. This is the world's tiniest small sandcastles, and each one of these is built on a grain of sand. Check that out. Little grains of sand with these sandcastles on them. That's pretty clever. Artist Vic Menuz is known for his gigantic composite installations and sculptures created from thousands of individual objects. In his new collaboration with artist and MIT researcher Marcelo Coelho, Muniz takes the opposite approach and explores the microscope with a new series of sandcastles etched onto individual grains of sands. All right, pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Moving on here, let's jump into our meditation for today. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. I want you to contemplate this affirmation as you're continuing to breathe slowly. Love is streaming live through every area of my life. The dynamic potential within me manifests as all needs met. I am free to be all that God created me to be. Vim, vigor, and vitality are the fuel I run on. I am supercharged. I am giddy with gratitude and glad surprise. It is done. It is so. So be it. And continue to breathe slowly. Continue to breathe slowly in and out. And just as you're breathing in and out, just acknowledge the rhythm of the universe. Breathing in and out. And know that you, me, and everyone else participating in this experience of life are part of the all. And as we breathe in and out, we feel that oneness with all that is. And as we feel this oneness, we begin to understand a bit more of who we are and our connection to all things. And yet we understand that this understanding is just the tip of the iceberg, just a piece of the puzzle. And as we contemplate this little piece of the puzzle, to begin to understand more of its wisdom, we find ourselves understanding more of ourselves. For the two are connected. So just feel your breathing in and out and imagine the waves of the ocean in and out. The waves of life moving in and out. The tides of energy that come and go, to and fro, back and forth. And as we feel this rhythm, we understand this is the rhythm of life, the synchronicity and navigation of life. And as we get in tune with it, we find ourselves guided along to the places we need to be, because aspects of ourselves connect deeper and deeper to this rhythm on many levels more than we realize. So feel all of this energy moving and vibrating through you. Feel all of your chakras activated from the bottom of the spine up. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and then the light continues on up into the cosmos. Feel the rhythm, feel the energy within you. Allow that energy to overflow and spill out into the room around you. Let this energy absorb into your home as strength, protection. Let this energy move down into the earth to form a solid foundation of light, protecting the earth, fortifying the ground where you live. Send this energy upward into the cosmos to fortify life itself. And let's just imagine the word love circling the planet, absorbing down into the earth and floating freely up into the sky. And as it does so, feel the earth smiling and the space brothers and sisters looking down, smiling as well. And imagine the faces on humans all across the earth. Humans and other beings that live here on the earth all feeling this love. And let's imagine all of those who we know to be causing problems in life, from the politicians to the bankers to the out of control security officers and police officers, and to all other criminals that are out there who pose as good guys. Let us send love to them at this moment. And in this moment, let us have some compassion for understanding that their actions are only based on fear. And as we send love to them, this love will go and dissipate the fear that they might begin to act rightly. And let's just think a positive thought for the world today. Let's think of a peaceful world. And let's imagine peace. And last, let's just imagine this world as it's been told that we are splitting dimensionally, and there is one earth that is a dimensional reality where all of those who desire the good, the God, the truth, the love to exist, while this other earth is those who are caught into lower vibrations. And let's just imagine the separation taking place and see yourself in that world where there is the good, the world where there is God, the world where there is the truth and life, light. Let go of all of the other attachments and just let yourself reside in the goodness that is, was, and ever shall be. Only let yourself just stay in this peaceful state of mind as you go into the day today. And let's bring our conscious mind back into this present moment. 3, coming back to this present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to this present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to this present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today, for the week. Plenty of information, things for you to watch over the weekend. Check it all out. If you have any questions, thoughts, whatever, let me know. Plenty of ways to reach me. Got the YouTube channel, we got the Twitter, we've got the Facebook, and we've got the email, firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. That's it. Have an awesome weekend. I'll be back Monday with more news and information. Till then, be safe, have fun, and just keep loving each other. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.